And welcome back. Today we are flying out the P-63A-5, and this thing criminally under-tiered, not like the P-39 is, but it's way too quick. It's still decently maneuverable. You do want to be careful with going super low speed in stall fights and climbing, because at like 200 and below, the prop efficiency of this thing is so damn bad that you basically turn your engine off. Now that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but it's really very bad. Before we get started, thank you to all my Patreons and to everyone looking to buy anything from the Convergence store. I have a 3% discount link in the description below. Decal is on the way. I know I've been saying this for a while now, but trust me, I'm getting just as impatient as you are. So, how are we going to fly this thing today? Well, mostly we can try to turn fight with some people, but in general you don't want to get into stall fights. And the reason I'm going for the BV-155 on the left here is because I can see him going for the bombers. And this is going to mean that he's probably going to be completely preoccupied with going for said bombers. He's going to be completely oblivious to the fact that we are going to creep up right on his 6. The BV-155 is extremely slow. It goes about 430 IS on the deck. And you're not getting away from anything in that. So if I just get on this guy's 6, get him out of the game before he starts turning with us, before he gets above us. Because in like a turn fight, or if he has altitude on you, this thing is extremely annoying. However, with this kind of speed, pretty easy to dismantle. So we go on to the furball on the bottom, and then I notice the P-47. So I'm just gonna cut my web. I'm already diving. I'm going 540. I don't need to overheat this engine. And I'm just gonna glide in and see if I can contest him. He's already going pretty slow. He's not really replying or reacting to anything we are doing. So I'm kind of half thinking that he is probably not really paying attention. I mean, it's a premium P-47. I'm not really expecting much here, but I want to get him out of the map, or out of the match, before I go down, so I don't get boom and zoom by this guy. So I'm gonna start zooming at him. I'm going about 620 speed, which is pretty good. And he now starts turning in, but he is not gonna have anywhere near enough speed to go vertical with us. So I just go under him. I go straight up, and it doesn't really matter that my prop efficiency is so damn bad, because I have so much energy in me already. I can just instantly pull into his flight path and click him out of the air. Now that the high altitude guys are cleaned up, we can start looking at the people below us. There is one guy high all the way across the map, but there is 3 or 4 guys on the deck here, and I'd rather get these numbers down, and then we can worry about the high guy later, because he is completely isolated and not really a threat at the moment. The SB2C dives in the LA5. I'm not really worried about the LA5 or the C202. I'm worried about the Key 44. LA5 then goes down, but if I went for the Key 44, the C202 would have been right on my 6. So I switch targets, only get a hit in, don't really do any damage. It's probably only a 50 cal. But I notice that he's not actually going up for me, which is the correct thing to do. So I can just latch onto this guy's 6 instantly. Key 44 has someone riding his ass. He gets set on fire. Key 44 goes down. C202 is so busy trying to shoot the guy in front of him that he is completely unaware of the fact that we are shooting him. P-39 then pulls in front of the burning 202. And he sets himself up for absolute disaster. C202 is obviously going to burn up here. We just click him once more to kill his pilot. And that is going to be the brunt of the game. But the game wouldn't be completed without someone trying to run to the airfield. And I get it. You're in the PE2. You are probably going to die. You don't have good gunner coverage. I'm not going to tell you, oh, just try to fight, bro. I get it. But dropping your bombs after taking off and then instantly turning back to the airfield makes me think, why did you even take off in the first place? You're just wasting everyone's time. And he's probably going to try to camp the airfield for the next 8 to 10 minutes. And then we lose on tickets. And the tickets here are my main issue. Not so much the AA. If tickets didn't drain automatically, if the game didn't end prematurely, AA wouldn't be that much of an issue. The problem is that tickets go down by themselves, and if you have a bad opener, you basically lose the game just by default. If there's like 2 or 3 wyverns at the start of the match that kill half the AA on the map, and then they run away to the airfield, you can't really do much about it, because they only have to camp there for about what? 4 to 6 minutes, and they probably win on auto bleed. And that's my main issue with tickets. I think it should be much better if it was you start with 0 tickets each team, and at the end of the 25 minutes Whoever has the most amount of points wins. It feels a bit like playing football, and if one team scores 3 goals, you just instantly lose and there is no coming back from it. There's still 70 minutes of the game left, but hey, you don't get a chance to come back from that because they scored 3 goals. And this also ties in with the auto bleed, and this also ties in just with the fact that AA, because it delays so much time, it's already only 25 minutes. And I agree, if everyone is dead, the match should be over. But I also think that people should not be able to complete the game within 4 minutes. In what world does a battle, if you go for a realism standpoint, in what world does a war end in like 4 minutes? A battle always lasts longer, and I know it's not 25 minutes, it's not realistic, War is not a simulator. But if you win the game before you even in the middle of the map, or lose a game, I don't care if I win or lose, I just don't like it when the game ends on tickets. It's especially frustrating when you have like the last 2 guys fighting, you're both in a fighter, you just want a dogfight, and then mid dogfight, a random AA or AI dies in the middle of the map, and you lose, or you win. And it's not even about the winning or the losing, it's just super anticlimactic. We're trying to play a game, and I'm not trying to say that attackers and bombers should be completely useless. I just think that they shouldn't have the ability to end the match very prematurely. That's the only thing I'm saying. If attackers can get a lot of score in at the start of the game, it's still going to be very hard. It's going to be extremely hard to come back from that. And if the tickets don't kill themselves, if the AI don't shoot each other, and the match doesn't go on by itself without player interaction, the power of those attackers still remains very strong. Because then the fighters that are late game, they're gonna struggle killing those AI. And sometimes you get a map where the other team's AI will just win the game for you. You don't have to do anything, you just have to make sure that the enemy doesn't kill them. Which I think is a little bit ridiculous. But of course, I already know that the comments are not gonna agree with that. But I think it's a lot fairer if it's more about the players and not so much the AI in the middle of the map. Same goes for the AA in the middle of the map. It's mostly games like this on Frontline, Mossdog. If you are an attacker, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you are a fighter, you also know what I'm talking about. It's less prevalent, but it's still extremely annoying. We all know that if you start ground pounding around those frontline maps, the AA is going to absolutely hammer you. And if you are an attacker and you try to get some early frags in, you're trying to get some early grind in because you know you are in a bad plane, and by the time you get there, you have about 1 to 2 minutes to get some damage done. And if you then have to deal with the AA, you get hit instantly because you fly straight for half a second, you have an oil leak, now you won't make it even back to base, you can't even repair, you can't rearm, you can't reset. And you just get absolutely clapped by some fighter that sees a smoking attacker. Same goes for bombers, it goes for everyone. This is not about me trying to advocate who fighters should be the only viable vehicle. Because that's not what I want this game to be. Midfield AA, what's that going to accomplish? It's the only guy that's benefiting from that is guys in because you have to pay more repair cost. Games ending in 3 to 4 minutes. Sure, you as an attacker have won the game on your own. But it doesn't matter because the game lasted 3 to 4 minutes. And now you still get nothing in wood in terms of RP. Who benefits from that? No one but Gaijin. So I already know this is not gonna be changed. I'm just trying to rant here. But I don't think that if games last longer, anyone really has a problem with that. Sure, some people don't like longer games, but you can still land and leave. And longer games net you more RP. And if you can win the game at the start, and you can simply just kill all the ground units, and then you know you have like 25 more minutes, that's gonna be a fat bank of RP. But let's go into the gameplay now, because the rant has been going on for long enough. And I went for the IL-2 because I know that that guy might be able to pull into some head-ons with my team, so I just want to get him out of the game as he is busy. And I noticed something. That BF on a 9 is very obviously trying to go for me. And I don't say this very often, but sometimes you can just smell it. And if you start doing it, I will abuse the ever-living hell out of it. There he comes. It's so damn obvious that he only wants to go for me. So I was already setting up, and I'm gonna fly away from him for a little bit, Now I'm gonna start diving and I'm gonna push ahead on. You see those teammates on my left, and I know that this guy is gonna be completely oblivious to the fact that there is people around, because the only guy who wants to kill is me. So I turn into him, look around, teammate is right there. So I'm just gonna do a full like 270 degree turn, and then I just have to fly straight. And look what is behind him. He's getting shot at right now. He's still not budging, because all he wants to do is kill me. Still not budging. 1 kilometer and gaining, and he's trying to chase me. Look how long it took him for him to break off. That's what I mean. It's very easy to spot when people just want to kill you, and I mean, I don't mind. Very often this is how it ends. You want to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings maybe. So after the 109 gets set on fire, he is definitely done. We start turning around. 190 is looking mighty spicy right now. And the Corsair, he is as well, but I'm not as worried about the Corsair. It's a clipped wing, it's the British premium, so I'm not too worried about him. But he pulls in front of us, and he is going to be a little bit of a sitting duck, and I'm expecting him to go vertical, and there he comes. Because he does so, he is way too slow. Look at him, and he disintegrates. 190 flies away. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but I'm just gonna fly in his direction because I'm going a lot quicker right now. So if he tries to fly away, I can simply catch him. If he starts a dogfight with us, might be a little bit more sketchy, because in a prolonged fight, the 190A1, it just has too much power. But he breaks off because I'm going very low. He switches targets, he tries to go over us. Very bad idea. We turn around, we get a crit, we hit him again. I hit him again. Mostly 50 cals though. So I just switch to the 50 cals because that's all I'm hitting anyway. He goes down. And we are gonna break off and see if he can help elsewhere. The 109 is still on the deck, doing absolutely nothing. He was on fire. He's not doing very well. And I'm just gonna look around and see who I can engage. And there's a key 108 with a BV-155 as well as a Spitfire. So I'm gonna try to get the 108 to get them to drop some altitude. Why? Because the BV-155 as well as the Spitfire are kind of annoying to deal with this thing if you have a lower energy state. Now sure, I can run away from them all game long, but I mean, I don't have any fun doing that. I'd rather just get a fight in. I'd rather get a little bit of an energy advantage here and see if I can start boom and zooming them. And the 108 is somewhat doing it correctly. He's not diving all the way to the deck instantly, but what he's doing now is he's diving towards me. So when he starts dropping altitude, and if one of those guys is actually aware of their surroundings, he's gonna be extremely close to us, and we are gonna be spotted, and one of them is probably going to break off, and there they come. So the 108 just, you wasted a lot of their altitude, all things considered, but they are going very fast, and I cannot equalize the speed right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dive into them. Why? Because I know they won't be able to catch us, especially the BV-155, and I'm going to try to make them drop as much altitude as possible. The Spitfire, he catches on somewhat, and he is going to break off. He's going to go vertical. He's going to bank that speed into altitude so he doesn't lose too much of it. But the BV-155 is going to lose a lot of speed here. He is throwing away a lot of energy, and he's still not climbing. He's still in that dive, and every meter he dives above his top speed is a lot of energy wasted. So we are trying to climb here. The Spitfire doesn't really want to dive on us, so I'm going to keep climbing here to make myself slower, to invite him into going for us. But every time we level out, he is going to pitch up, which is kind of annoying, and I get it. He doesn't want to lose too much energy, but he can catch us right now. He's going fast enough. Well, not anymore. He was going fast enough, and at this point, I mean, all I have to do is just point the nose down and I can outrun him. And we're gonna do something like that, but I want to bleed some speed from him. I don't want to do this I break off at 1 kilometer thing for the next 10 minutes. It's just extremely boring. You're in the Spitfire, just commit to the dive, just try to dogfight me and you kill me. That's really it. So, and now we're outrunning him, because this guy has been wasting so much time trying to play passively when he had the energy advantage, that eventually I'm just gonna be faster. I'm gonna have an higher energy state on equal altitude. So I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't notice that I'm going faster right now. I'm gonna pull in slightly here so he starts cutting us off, so he starts gaining speed on us or gaining distance on us. And I'm just trying to get this guy to make, I'm just trying to make sure that this guy doesn't start climbing. because that's going to be very annoying. And again, I'm going a little bit diagonal. So it looks like again that he is catching us. I am definitely quicker than him right now. And you can tell that the second he gets directly on our 6, there we go. We start gaining on him again. So I'm just waiting for him to do something now. He already knows. And if he starts reacting even a slight bit, I'm just going to turn in. Why? Because I want to get this guy to get a little bit slower so that my friendly in the P-39N can actually do something. He starts climbing. I'm going to go climbing too, in the hope that he levels out and tries to go for us. The second that P-39 gets a little bit closer, I'm going to start turning in. There he comes. We're going to go under him. And I'm just going to be diving into my friendly. I'm going to go directly underneath him because I want to make 100% sure that this guy actually dives on us so that the P-39 can do something. Look how much faster I am now. But I want this guy to be on my 6. So I'm going to start dropping left and right. He is bleeding a shitload of speed right now. And I'm just going to go straight. P-39 pushes the head on with the Spitfire. I'm just going to turn around. And I'm going to be pushing a head on. I dodge it. I'm going quick enough to dodge. So he goes for us. And I'm going to be doing the big energy bleed. I'm going to drop my throttle. And I'm just going to be dancing in front of him. He is bleeding a shitload of speed right here. And I kind of make a bad balloon line there. I turn right in his guns. Not ideal. I mean, that entire fight was not exactly ideal. I was just trying to bleed him of energy. I was not trying to win the dogfight there. I was just trying to get behind him, drop my throttle, and then try to run away. But he also dropped throttle even though it was a 2v1. Bit of a bad call on his end because he's completely out of energy now and I can simply run away. But at the same time, him dropping throttle also means that he got a shot on us and he could have killed us there. But for now, I'm just going to run away. I'm going to reset a little bit, get a little bit of altitude, try to not go too slow. And now the P-39 is directly above him and we are coming in from the side. So the Spitfire is in a very bad position right now. And that's also because he dropped the throttle in that fight. He tried to be as slow as possible and this is what he got. Altitude advantage from altitude disadvantage in about 2 or 3 turns. So he's gonna start dodging. He's a little bit too slow. I can't aim, however. So we only get some hits in. P-39 pushes head on. Spitfire gets an engine crit. And at this point it's just a matter of cleaning him up. I'm not sure how badly damaged he is at this point. I mean, sure, they're going into head-ons. I'm just gonna try to get some more hits in. But at this point, I'm looking at him and he is completely dead. I mean, look at this. He is falling out of the air. So we just go over his nose. He's completely stalled out. And we don't have to help the P-29 with this kill. And we go right into the next guy. We have an ITP. And the ITP doesn't turn very well. Has very good guns. Climb rate is okay. But in something like a dogfight or in a high-speed dogfight especially, he doesn't stand much of a chance. So what I'm gonna do here is dive slightly to get this guy as quick as possible. I don't want this fight to be low speed, because at low speed the ITP actually has a lot better energy generation than we do. And even though he doesn't turn very well, once we are stuck at like 150 and we don't have the position to capitalize on it, he's going to rinse our ass. And the reason I start talking in chat is because he just simply wouldn't engage us. You can see by the chat timer at 8 minutes 40 he was already on my 6 together with the C205 and it would constantly break off at like 1.5 to 1.7 kilometers, even though it was 2v1. They both had an altitude advantage. They both could have caught me if they dove on me, but they wouldn't. They would constantly break off and waste their energy and waste their altitude, and eventually, I mean, I hope that one of them would dive on me. ITP, look at the position he has. It's so easy for him to kill us here. But it looks like he is finally somewhat committed, because this is the closest he has been so far. So we go into a little bit of a spiral to make sure that he stays as close to us as possible. I want to start turning in at like 1.1 kilometers, because that's where he breaks off normally. And he does break off, but he instantly breaks back in. And all I want to do now is pull in front of him without actually giving him a gun solution. I'm gonna continue the web. He's already faster than us. I don't need to drop speed, and I want to have the most amount of energy in case he breaks off. This guy has been playing energy this entire time, so the chances of him doing it again is pretty damn high. So we pull up for him. We get some hits in. Very hard to aim this. I'm basically stalling out. My engine is about to turn off because we are going very, very slow here. Right now I'm just trying to drift outside of his gun pad. I'm I'm trying to stay above him as he drops down. He does exactly that. So we go down now, we drop the flaps, and we're gonna start pulling into him, because if he wants to go into a downward spiral, he is gonna be in for a surprise. We are going 300, he's gonna go into the raid fight. And when I have this much position, when I turn better, even if you do raid better, yeah, my instantaneous turn is gonna be too good for you to handle. ITP doesn't turn particularly well. ITP gets crit, oil, water, fuel, fuselage, and there's the fire. He is gonna do absolutely nothing anymore. He burns up. And then the Key 43 as well as the C205 just go sit in orbit like 2 kilometers above us, never engage us, and whenever we would even try to think about turning around to push ahead on from 3 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers below them, which means that we would just die if they dodged, they would turn back to the airfield, so we had no real counterplay. And eventually the Key 43 died. The C205 then just camped the airfield, and well, they lost on tickets. Fantastic, I know. On to the last game. We're going to get 7 kills, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be a very stellar game, but I heard that some people would like to see the more average kind of gameplay, the more boring games, and I'm mostly killing IL-2s, and I'm mostly killing all the bombers. But hey, there's a reason this is at like 21 minutes into the video, because the people that don't really care, they will be gone already. There are gonna be some things here that are kind of helpful. It's mostly average gameplay though. I'm just trying to go for all the IL-2s. I'm trying to kill them as quickly as possible, because you can see the tickets are getting pretty low, and we haven't really been able to do anything, because they get an air spawn and they can start killing these units so damn quickly. So I need to get these guys out of the match. I'm just shooting center mass. I'm trying to kill the pilot mostly. I'm trying to shoot the middle, kill the gunner, kill the pilot. But you can see here, because we are forced to go to the deck, we are now very susceptible to all these other planes that start dropping in on us. You're forced to go low, you're forced to kill the attackers, and by doing so, you're making yourself a very easy target for the rest of the enemy team. Spitfire tried to turn in, he tried to catch us, and he would have. So I kind of turned inside of his loop twice, make sure that he tries to turn with us. And because he's going so fast, we will turn inside of him, and by the time he gets behind us, we will be very handily outrunning him. Now here there's an IL-2 on our left, and I can go all the way around him, but there's a guy going for him already, so I'm gonna try to go underneath him. Maybe he doesn't pay attention to us, but he does. The guy on the 6 then doesn't actually kill him, and now we have an IL-2 on a 6 that's like 300 meters away. So we want to make sure that we kind of stay ahead of his guns, but he hits us once. Luckily he doesn't blow us up. MG hits us again, and I'm just gonna be using the fact that he's so damn slow. But those guns are so fast, and we're not going very quick, so it's very hard for us to dodge him. He should have just well held the trigger down, we probably would have been dead. But we're gonna run away from this guy until we finally have sufficient distance between us. And then we can go head on with the Spitfire Mark IIB. And the way he's dodging this head on just makes me think he really doesn't want to take it. And he's just completely oblivious. We get some hits in on him. Right wing crit. We don't have to turn with him, we're just gonna go straight. And there you have it, mid-map AA. And I'm gonna bitch about it, even though it's helping me right now. Why is this a thing? What is this? Why does he get hit by a random base in the middle of the map? He is smoking now. So at this point it's done deal. I mean, I already crit him. Arguably you can say maybe he should have been dead already. But it doesn't matter, he just got his engine completely blasted by a random AA emplacement in the middle of the map. Who is benefiting from this? My fight gets ruined. He gets bullshitted out of a potential win. And no one has fun. But I mean, lately that has been kind of the standard with War Thunder, hasn't it? IL-2 pitching up for us. He is going to be very slow. He is going to be almost stalled out by the time he gets within gun range. So all I have to do is fly over his nose and make sure I dodge him. He can't really roll here. He's way too slow. I just roll out of the way. And he is getting shafted by the teammate. However, it's a bomber. It's a B-18. And I just want to make sure that I don't die to him. So I'm going to pull in here. I'm going to keep shooting. We get a crit. I mean, it's an IL-2. He's pretty damn tanky. I just want to make sure that he dies right here maybe. No, more hits. But he's doing very badly right now. He has very badly damaged. And with an IL-2 and damage, not a great combination. So very often just going to die. Bad shooting on my end. I'm sure I hit some shots there. but I 100% should have killed him there. I just missed the most important part of my burst. IL-2 goes for the B-18. Keep looking around because I know there's another dude somewhere around here. With IL-2, look at his speed. He's going like 250. He's just flying straight. Keep shooting him, keep shooting him, keep shooting him. But it's an IL-2, it doesn't care. It's just gonna keep on flying. And that's why I mainly just shoot center mass. Try to kill the engine or the pilot. So if you shoot around the cockpit area, you mostly either kill the engine or the pilot, which is definitely the most vulnerable point on IL-2. It's an IL-2, it's not really that dangerous, but they can be pretty damn annoying if it's in a team setting, because they do turn quite well. And what do? We turn our engine off. Why? Because I'm trying to sneak up on this guy. I have a feeling he's completely oblivious. He doesn't hear us right now. And you can tell that he doesn't see us. Last second he does. But now we have all the position in the world. We hold the trigger down. And we pilot snipe the Yak 1. And that's kill number 7. Almost lose on tickets. Because you know it's a great mechanic. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.